Alright. I think we should be live here. One second, let me make sure. Just before I get too far. Alright, good, we are live. Welcome back, everybody, to another one. It is time, once again, to burn it down with the Monster Jam Destruction series. Now, I'm realizing right now as I speak that I forgot to make a document for the scores we're going to be seeing tonight, so it's going to be a little bit weird. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to just have to use exactly what I use for Indianapolis. This means nothing to you guys. Just know that when I'm talking about scores and series placements and all that fun stuff, it's going to be a little bit strange. I'm not going to really know where people are sitting because I totally forgot. I was like, oh, looks like I got everything ready to go. No, I did not. I forgot one step, but it won't be bad for the show or anything like that. So, sorry, you do have a black screen right now. Yes, Mash the Truck. We might do that today. I'm not sure. Because El Toro Loco, I don't know how I made this mistake with it being the anniversary, but El Toro Loco is not even on this series, so we'll see what happens. But, in any case, it is time to get going here. So, sorry, you guys are staring at nothing. Let me at least throw this up. Tonight's lineup, same as before the Destruction series, but this one hasn't ran in a minute, so I'm just going to read through these here. Zack, Garner, Wildside, Tim Hall Jr., Jurassic Attack, Weston Anderson, Bog Hog, Blake Granger, Monster Mutt Dalmatian, Ryan Anderson, Son-Uva Digger, celebrating 15 years, Chris, Koehler, and Mayhem, Bari, Musawwir, and Zombie, Mike, Pagliarulo, Excaliber, Camden Murphy, Classroom Crusher, John Zimmer Jr., Terminal Velocity, John Gordon, and Megalodon, Tyler, Menninga, and Gravedigger, Jim Koehler and Avenger, Colt Stevens, ThunderROARus, Bryce, Kenny in the Tech Deck, Rec Deck, and then finally, of course, Venard and the Black Pearl, who you might have seen that little intro, which I also forgot to get ready before we started off here. But, all that being said, we're not going to waste a second here. We're just going to get straight into the action here. We're in Anaheim, California, and we're going to have a good time. So, this racing style is going to be the same as we saw in San Diego earlier this year, but I realize that stream is no longer up, so some of you may not have seen it. But you'll get the hang of this racing pretty easily. I mean, this is one of the more simple racing courses we see this season. But it is a little complicated as well if you're on it. So, we're not going to do a demonstration pass here because this is the big tour. We got a lot of time to get through with this event. So we're just going to do things a simple way here. And just go for it. So Colt Venard, the Black Pearl, kicks things off. And timed racing begins now. So again, you'll kind of get the hang of this as we go along. But it starts off, already seeing a driver struggling on the course. It starts off like normal SoCal style, but drivers actually are going to go straight and then wide on that first turn, and then they're going to hit the backside of that racing lane that they started on, and then they're going to take it around into that other lane, opposite of the one they started in, and then they're going to do a normal SoCal style pass from there. So it is pretty complicated, but you guys will get the hang of it. Colt Venard here is really struggling in his pass. That dirt looks a little bit more slick than what these drivers are used to seeing, and it's Colt Venard getting some of that there, as that time is a 39.60. Just take a look at this here. Whenever Colt Venard does a little hole shot, you see that dirt coming off the tires looks really moist. You know, sometimes you want some moisture, but in that case, that looks like it was a little bit too much. Too hard to get good traction, and that time to kick off timed racing here is a 39.60. 39.60, sorry. I was making sure everything else was right, because I realized I missed a couple steps setting up the stream. I wanted to make sure things I do have set up were set up right, and they were. So, in any case, we're here to get back into timed racing, and we're going to throw it over to a driver who, here on the BeamNG circuit, has had a pretty rough start to the season, but his last show was easily his best one yet. Now he's got the opportunity to ride that wave maybe to some more success. This is Bryce, Kenny, and the Tech Deck Rec Deck. Now, I apologize. I do realize the Black Pearl Monster Truck was probably a little louder than I intended for it to be. I'm experimenting with some new sound settings, and I had that one on the wrong setting, so it was probably a little bit too loud compared to my voice, but that shouldn't be a problem for the rest of the stream. It might be a problem again, though, since, again, I am still experimenting with this. Up next, though, Bryce, Kenny, Tech Deck, Rec Deck. Let's see what he can do. Bryce, Kenny, and the Tech Deck, Rec Deck now getting started here. Does a great job cutting that first corner here. Much better start to this pass than we saw from Cole. Venard gets a little too tight around that next turn, though, so he's got to kind of maybe get a little bit wider as he goes to the rest of this pass. Try not to be too calculated, or not too calculated, but not too, cutting it too close there. Wow, that was a beautiful turn. I thought he was going to roll it or oversteer or something, but he actually just perfectly drifted around both of those last couple of corners. And Bryce, Kenny, and the Tech Deck Rec Deck is going to glide smoothly to a new lead. That time for Bryce, Kenny. No problem. I don't really need any shouting anyway until it's scored competitions. Bryce, Kenny, Tech Deck, Rec Deck, which won't be for another like 20 minutes, 30 minutes maybe. Anyway, Bryce Kenny puts down a time of a, if I can find him on my spreadsheet, 34.03, and now I am starting to see some of those issues I was predicting I would be having with this when I forgot to do my setup properly today. I'm already experiencing some problems with it, so excuse me here as I try to make the best of these issues I'm facing. Alright. Everything's looking good. We're going to get ready for that next competitor. So, Bryce Kenny, a guy I think from the start of his career and now as well, always has been known very specifically for freestyle. This next driver takes that to another level as he is a world freestyle champion, but that is the only competition that he really is known for. However, Bryce Kenny just did a great job in racing. Let's see if this next one can too. What pack am I using? Every one I can find. I literally have downloaded every single pack that gets released on the website, and I use them all together. But I am, over time as more trucks get released, trying to shift into the Beam Monsters resize pack as best as I can. So that's about half of this lineup here. But again, coming up next, Colt Stevens, ThunderROARus onto the track. Let's see what he can do here. Colt really has had some good luck here on the season and some bad luck. You know, he's sitting towards the bottom of the points standings. Well, let's see if he can change that here tonight. Good start to the pass, pretty similar to what we saw from Bryce Kenny. Cole Venard's going to be having a rough night, but so is Colt Stevens. He is going to go up and over into the barrier. Fortunately, that truck somehow ends up back on the track and on all fours, so he will be able to finish off his pass here without having to take a DNF, but that is still a crazy event there for Colt Stevens. Very lucky to see that truck still in one piece. Even the steering is working all right, which sometimes in those rollovers it gets messed up, and we do see him get tripped up here throughout this pass. And unfortunately, Colt Stevens, that crazy wow factor we saw right there is going to come back to bite him. That time tonight being a 40.62. Again, a 40.62. So far tonight we've seen some drivers have some really good luck, best of the season so far. Others have had some of the worst luck of their season so far. I'm interested to see how this will change as this event goes on. Of course, we are still only in the first competition. Anything can happen even for those first couple of drivers, but, you know, this is that point in the event where the bar for the rest of the night is being set, and these drivers want to make sure that they're staying on top of it, because it can be very easy to very quickly lose it in shows this big. Currently awaiting that next driver here. This competitor is quite the veteran. I think he's the longest running driver on this entire series, and he's an independent as well. Just waiting to see if that truck can get out there on the track. Not too sure what's going on here. Having some trouble. These are the same issues we had back in Indianapolis. But it looks like we are back, and we are ready to rock here. 1 second here. Alright. Let's get back into the action here. Coming up next, I just basically spoiled exactly who this is. Very long-running veteran, independent driver. Representing his very own identity, it's Jim Koehler, Avenger. So let's see what Jim can do here. He has been having a pretty rough year, honestly. You know, sometimes you see that with drivers who've been doing it for a very long time. Sometimes it's hard for them to keep up with themselves. So let's see if Jim can get some redemption here in Anaheim. Whoa, got almost like a power wheelie coming out of that start. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to help him, though. This is not the freestyle competition. He's also going to drift out there. So, yeah, that slick dirt definitely coming back to bite a couple of these competitors. Jim Koehler, though, he's trying to keep it up, but that dirt is really taking the best out of this run here. Hopefully, there's a little bit less of that by the time freestyle rolls around, and you want it a little bit tackier, but I don't know. Interesting pass here for the Avenger. Jim Koehler, big speed to the finish line. Oh my gosh! Whoa. Well, that is not what you want to see. Take a look. That whole tire has just come clean off. Broken tire rod up here. Shocks are broken. Sway bar's broken. I'm not sure if we're going to be seeing that Avenger truck in two-wheel skills. I mean, we'll see what happens, but that time, unfortunately for all that chaos, not going to be too rewarding for him. It's a 41.04, and that very, very unfortunate crash there for the Avenger might take him out of competition later on in this event, but we'll see what happens. I'm sure that truck will at the very least be back by freestyle if he doesn't destroy it worse in skills, but we'll see what happens as we get ready for that next competitor, a driver that I think is pretty surprising to see this low down in the series standings. Let's see what he can do, though. Try to get some redemption for himself now. Is in that new chassis as well. Maybe that will help him out. Coming up next to the track, out of Digger's Dungeon, this is Tyler Menninga. Let's see what he can do. Again, Tyler has not had the luck you'd expect from him on the season so far. I want to say he's sitting in 11th place right now. So he still has, you know, a couple months to try to get some points back, but with the World Finals set to take place here in June, it's really not all that much time. I mean, it's time, but there's no saying there will be many shows in that time, and, you know, I'm sure Tyler doesn't want to miss the biggest show of the year, but if he places on the bottom of this series, he will not be there, and he is going to see a very rough crash here in racing. Unfortunately, that is going to be the first DNF of the night, and it's going to a driver that really, I'm sure, wanted to avoid losing out on more points. Tyler absolutely decimates that truck. First DNF of the night. I don't know, that was pretty bad there. Whole body wrecked. Looks like the truck, maybe he broke an axle, but aside from that, at least the mechanics should be fine, but I don't know. It's really, looking at the point standings here, I think that's going to be a big concern. for Tyler. We'll see if he can at least make sure everything's looking right before two-wheel skills, where I think maybe we'll see a little bit of better performance. But coming up next, John Gordon and the Megalodon. John Gordon here with Team Overboard. You see he's got a little bit of a wider wheelbase than others we've seen out here. Will that help him? Will it hurt him? We're going to have to wait and see. Sometimes it can do both depending on the competition. And John Gordon is getting started here in timed racing. Good start to the pass, I'll say that though. John Gordon always known to be fairly fast. Not necessarily, you know, the kind you're putting money on winning racing, but you never expect him to be out, you know, round one or in last place either. So I think he's doing a good job demonstrating that here. He hasn't really made any mistakes, although I wouldn't say he's been our fastest competitor either. Maybe this last turn could be the difference though, and it will be. That time for the Megalodon here with John Gordon, a 33.57, and that is going to put him in that top spot above Bryce Kenny. Again, 33.57. That's about half of a second less, which is a pretty big interval, all things considered. Typically, you keep those, you know, maybe 0.2 of a second out. But John Gordon really finds a big step up there, and that's going to be helping him out here. Alright, coming up next, another independent driver hitting the track. This is John Zimmer Jr. and Terminal Velocity. Now, typically John Zimmer Jr. known to win a lot. Well, unfortunately, truck issues here on the series this year have prevented that from happening, but maybe he could make up some of that ground here. Similar to Tyler, I'd say, I think everyone expected him to be in a better position than he is at this point in the season, but again, he still has a little time to make some up, and that includes this show. He's going to go very wide in that turn, though, so far from the first driver to experience that issue, and now he is going over as well. Truck is back on all fours. He will be able to finish out this pass, but that is still going to leave a mark on his time regardless, and that's going to come back and remind him that this series is not going to be as easy to place high in as the last one was. You know what, though? He recovers well, doesn't let it get in the way of the rest of his pass. And that time for terminal velocity, though, is a 40.14. So even though it looked fairly clean the rest of the way through, it's not necessarily going to save him. Again, 40.14. That is actually last place with the exception of Tyler's DNF. That's the worst time we have seen put down so far, which for someone like John Zimmer Jr. is honestly pretty surprising to me. Again, I expect him to be placing at the top, but this season has proved difficult for a lot of more seasoned drivers, and some others have been having their best year yet, like Zack and Tim Hall Jr. at the top. Coming up next, this is a driver who's kind of in between. He's had a pretty good, solid career, but nothing major to show for it. Maybe this series can be the difference. It's Camden Murphy in the Classroom Crusher. And Camden's success lately has been totally different than what he was getting at the start of the year. He has improved big time in the point standings. Maybe he can keep that up here in timed racing. Classroom Crusher now getting started. Camden Murphy, that is the best turn you could ask for. Kicks off this racing pass. He is going to also go up and over, though, and he might not be able to save this. No, he cannot. Second DNF of the night is going to go to Camden Murphy. So, very interesting results so far. A lot of very good drivers here coming out and just completely having no luck at all. Another DNF on the night from a driver that you really expect to see be good, especially in this particular competition. Camden's always been a pretty well-rounded driver, good at some of everything, but that's not going to be the case here tonight in Anaheim, California. Still has 2 more competitions to try to make up some ground, though. And now coming up next, we're going to throw it back to the Independents. One of the most iconic monster trucks of all time, with a rising star behind the wheel, Mike Pagliarulo. He is a world champion here on the BeamNG circuit. Not very many drivers hold that title. In fact, I believe he is the only BeamNG world champion in this lineup. I can't recall who won 2-wheel skills, but I know Brianna Mahan won timed racing and Adam Anderson won freestyle, so Mike Pagliarulo's got a lot to defend here. Not known for racing, but I'll say he's off to a pretty good start here tonight. So Mike, he's off to a great start. Perfect drift around that big central pod. Went a little wide right there, but the momentum is staying high, and Mike is actually putting down a great racing pass. Gonna be one of the faster ones tonight. Well, it is one of the faster ones, but not quite as fast as I was expecting. It's a 36.68. But it does put him in 3rd place, so not bad. Not as fast as I thought it was. What on earth did I just do? Not as fast as I thought it was, but not a bad time either. And it's going to get him a good amount of points when this competition wraps up. Now we're going to move into another driver here. I'm going to be interested to see if he can break the curse. Another driver who has a pretty long career with some pretty good career achievements. Yet to be a world champion. Yet to be a Stadium Series champion. But a veteran regardless. Coming out onto the track, it is Bari Musawwir and the Zombie. So let's see if Bari can get some success out here in Anaheim. Maybe he can break the curse with all the veterans having some pretty bad passes. Well, Bari can be the one to prove that maybe it was just some bad driving and not the track at all. We're going to have to wait and see. Bari is sitting pretty high up right now. I want to say 7th place on the series standings, so a lot is at stake with this pass, and he is off to a very good start. You know, you can't forget with Bari, he is a World Finals Racing finalist, and debatably should have been the one to have won the competition. So let's see what he can do here. Final corner. Perfect around it, and he is going to get some good speed around that finish line. A lot of drivers actually almost rolling it across the line. Bari will not be one of them. So far, it is only Jim to actually roll over at the end of the pass. That time for Bari is a 35.86. He will now be taking that 3rd place position away from Mike Pagliarulo in the Excaliber, and as I was saying, he is going to be the first veteran driver to find himself towards the top in an event where most others have had quite the opposite luck. Alright, getting ready for that next driver. Actually, let's take a look. Bryce Kenny's sitting in 2nd. John Gordon's still in 1st. I was forgetting who was up there. Welcome, Maniac. Good to have you back again. It's always a lot of fun here when everyone's together. Let's see. Yep. We got 6 to go in this competition. And coming up next, a driver with a great racing record here on the BeamNG circuit, Koehler and Mayhem. He has, I bring this up every time, when it was the LCQ last year for the BeamNG World Finals, he had both of the fastest times as he won his way in. Maybe he can demonstrate some of that same talent here tonight. We're going to have to wait and see. So Koehler having a much better season this year than last year. I doubt he'll even be in the LCQ this year because he'll probably already be in main field. It looks like he's trying to prove me wrong, though. This pass is off to a interesting start. Still has time to save it, though. Jim Koehler did not have much better luck, so maybe Chris Koehler just trying to keep it going. And Chris Koehler puts down DNF number 3 on the night. So no shortage of these here. Chris Koehler, unfortunately, finds himself in the loser circle, just as I was talking about how he was finally having a great event for himself, or not a good event, but a good season, I should say. This event could have helped him, but that won't be the case. So unfortunately, Chris Koehler Mayhem, he is actually going to live up to what we've seen so far, but he's going to live up to the bottom of the standings rather than the top. Coming up next, Ryan Anderson, son of a digger. He currently sits in 5th place. That series lead still very much in his sights. He's only 20 points out from it. He's actually exactly 20 points out from it, so he still has the ability to catch back up, especially with 48 points per show. But he's got a lot of drivers in his way that he's got to try to get past. And a lot of that starts here with this racing pass. Is it another DNF? It won't. Maybe. Oh, this is awkward. Ryan is going to save it now with the opportunity to finish this pass, but he's got a broken front right axle, and now he has a whole new problem to deal with. He has to try to finish his racing pass. With a broken truck, he might not even get to the end. He's going to pull off save of the year. What is happening? That might have been one of the best saves of the whole season. And we're just here in racing with Ryan trying to get through his pass. He might roll over again. Oh, I don't think he can save this one. He's going to try, but that's done. 3 rollovers in a racing pass. And if anyone was going to do it, it would be Ryan. That is the 4th DNF of the event. This track, I mean, I was saying at the start, you know, this course is easy to understand as a fan, but as a driver, there's a lot of simple things that'll get you really messed up. And in Ryan's case, I mean, practically every single turn on the track was taking him out. Largely just because of the fact that that truck was broken after the second one. But still, that is definitely going to hurt Ryan here, especially as he's celebrating such a big anniversary. Coming up next now, we got Blake Granger, Monster Mutt Dalmatian. Final 4. This is the last quarter here for racing. Blake Granger looking for his first full Stadium Series championship. Of course, he has been an international champion, which is similar, but that's only a couple of stadiums. Here on the BeamNG circuit, Blake gets the opportunity to do all stadiums for a season. He's off to a pretty good start to this pass, but it's definitely not been the cleanest one we've seen. That's still got to go to, of course, those drivers at the top. But Blake is trying to do it, and he is off to a pretty good second half here. 1 turn left to go. He cuts it a little too short, but he is going to still recover pretty quickly. And that time for the Monster Mutt Dalmatian is not too bad either. It is a 35.33. Not enough for the top spot, but that does put him in 3rd place. So nicely done by Blake Granger. Finds himself in the top 3, and being so high up on the series standings, that is exactly what he needs to do if he wants to try and go home with a series lead by the end of this tour. We only got 3 competitors left to go now. These 3 drivers are all within 10 points of their first Stadium Series championship, and all of them are pretty young drivers. They all started within the past 6 years, I want to say. Well, no, one of them's been driving a little longer, but still, all these drivers have not been driving in Monster Jam for very long at all, and now they are the ones finding themselves leading the series right now, and the first of them is Weston Anderson and the Bog Hog. Of course, Weston getting to have his own identity, just like Ryan does. That was a close one. He got stuck on that. This would have been a very awkward series of events for the Bog Hog here. But, in any case, Weston and Tyler both won their way onto the series. You can't have two Gravediggers, so why don't you let Weston drive his own truck on a bigger scale? That's how he ended up with the Bog Hog here. Let's see what he can do. Good start to the pass for Weston, but he's going to oversteer a little bit. Does a good job correcting, though. Turns that rear steer out with him. Not enough speed in that turn. He goes too wide completely. And now he's got to push that truck to the edge to try and get a better finish to this racing pass. Let's see what else he can do here. One more turn to go. Alright, got awkward again, but he's back, ready to go. We're going to see the second major rollover to end out a racing pass. But it is going to come to a great end. Weston Anderson pulls off a great save. And he's going to join Jim Koehler for craziest ending to a full racing pass. And that time is a 38.69. Not a particularly good time or a bad time. I believe that is going to put him in the top 7 or so. Everyone's got their things going on today. We only got 2 left to go. Both independent drivers still looking to make their mark. One a world champion, one not. Maybe this year that will change. So coming up next here in timed racing, looking to start off his night strong, it's Tim Hall Jr. and the Jurassic Attack representing Team Throttle Monster here on the series, the only one doing so. Let's see if he can do it well. Tim Hall Jr. ready to get things going. He's on that racing lane on the backside. Let's see what he can do. Tim Hall Jr. Jurassic Attack gets this run started. Oh, that was a little awkward right there. Lost it a little bit. Able to keep it together, though. That is just something we're going to have to keep in mind here with the rest of this pass. Every little mistake, even one as small as that, is going to contribute to the overall time. Tim Hall Jr., though, if he can place top 3, that alone will get him a ton more points. And I think he will. Great time. Great pass, I should say. I'm going to actually have to look at the times myself to see if this did it. Oh, so close. That time to be a 34. Sorry, it was actually a 33.57, so not that close. Tim Hall Jr. gets 3rd place. His time is a 34.44. 3rd place, though, is a lot of points, so very fortunate for Tim Hall Jr. there. He is going to pick up quite the number. And now there is only one driver left in his way of placing podium here in racing. But this last driver up really needs to do well right now because he is your series points leader. And if he wants to become a series points champion, he's got to do everything he can. This is Zack, Garner, and the Wild Side. So Zack leading the series. Maybe some added pressure. He's got to do whatever he can. Get whatever points he can. And now he's got that opportunity to do so on one of Monster Jam's most iconic floors. And he's off. Cuts that first turn very nicely. Some drivers had already had their race lost right there, but Zack won't be one of them. However, that one is going to do it. I don't think he can really come back from a mistake that big. Zack Garner way too wide in that second turn, way too wide in that third turn as well. A lot of big mistakes here Again, that slick dirt really is getting the best of some of these drivers. Zack Garner, though, he's not letting it stop him. He's still going very strong in this pass. Final corner here, but he's going to take it a little bit too tight. And that is going to hurt him a little bit worse than the other mistakes did. That time for the wild side, a 38.92, which means for the first time this season, I think, John Gordon and the Megalodon is a racing winner. A lot of interesting points implications here coming out of racing. One of the most important of those is Ryan Anderson placing dead last. When you place dead last and you were in 5th place, probably guess that's not where you're going to be coming out of the competition. Other notable things here. A lot of drivers struggling with the course thrown at them here. Very confused. Something weird is... I'm sorry, I'm trying to tally up all these times, all these scores, and see what's going on. Because that was a very interesting night of racing. Especially I want to see where Zack plays. Zack placed in 8th place there in timed racing. That is not a great place to end up when you're trying to win it all, of course. And what else do we got? Got 11 to you, 12, 13, 14, 15. Who did I miss? Okay, something weird is going on here. I'm just going to completely restart. I don't know what's happening. This is just a... This is a disaster. I'm sorry, guys. I assure you I'm trying to figure out what's going on with these points, but... Oh, what on earth? Why is it doing that? It's like making a new row when I try to type in one. I think that's what tripped me up there. Alright. I think I got things figured out now. Sorry, this always takes a very long time when it's such a big tour. When it's one of the smaller ones, you know, I have this done pretty much immediately, but this series is a little different. Now, why is Zack in a new spot now? I don't know what's going on. Now I'm reading that Zack actually got 9th place, which I think must be right. That must be where my mistake was last time. So even worse, Zack did not get 8th. He actually got 9th. That has bigger points implications. Mike gets 11 points. Bari gets 12. Blake gets 13. Tim Hall Jr. gets 14. Oh, yeah. A lot of interesting things here. Again, John Gordon and Megalodon wins it tonight. Timed racing. Tim Hall Jr. is your series leader. He has officially done it. He is up to 161 points. Zack only has 160. So just barely, Tim Hall Jr. has snuck his way into 1st place. And that's something that Zack's got to try to make his way back up from here. Chris Koehler does not get enough points here to really defend his spot. Mike gets a good amount. Colt Stevens breaks that 100-point barrier. Jim Koehler passes him. What else we got? Cole Venard still stuck in the 90s with 95. John Gordon up a bunch of points now with 126. And Bryce Kenny breaks the 100-point threshold now at 109. So a lot of interesting things there. Alright. So, all that being said, it is time for the two-wheel skills competition. This is where you fans need to help out. All these drivers, they're going to go do their best moves they can, and they need scores. And who better to score them than you, the fans? Well, I hope that ends up being true, but there's 2 things that need to happen for that to work out. The first one is you fans need to participate. The second is that you need to score. You can't just watch the run. You gotta put your score between 1 and 10. You can do whatever you want. It's just gotta be any number between 1 and 10. That will be averaged out with an expert score, and that will become the official score, but your scores are needed, and they need to be fair. All that being said, it is finally time here to get started with that next competition. We got our first driver ready to go. Now in this competition, drivers will only be given one move total, but they can attempt it 2 times if they need to. And coming up first, Ryan Anderson. Now Ryan here in an awkward position. He hasn't had a good amount of time to figure out how this dirt is going to behave for him. Looks like it is still a little bit slick, but he hasn't had the opportunity to watch other drivers and stuff like that. So let's see what he can do. Again, Ryan Anderson setting the bar. He already crashed 3 times in this event before even getting into the second competition. Let's see what he can do. Goes for the bicycle, overcooks it. Can he save it? Oh, they shut him off. So close for Ryan. Almost gets the wow factor, but it's going to be another unfortunate rollover in that RAI. Again, for anyone who thinks that was me, it is out of my control. The RAI is out of my control. It will be off for freestyle. Don't worry. But the RAI did go off there. Out of my control, unfortunately. And that's going to do it. Let's take a look here. Alright. 4.5 from the fans. Again, 4.5 from the fans. Experts are going to give that a 4.25. And that is a 4.375. Getting things kicked off. 4.375. Unfortunately, Ryan's dreams of a series win kind of going down the hill so far. Up next, Koehler in Mayhem. He's got to fire that truck up. Let's see what Chris can do here. Back in 2023, this was really his competition, but since then, he hasn't really done anything super notable in it. Let's see if he can make something happen here, though. He is sitting pretty high up in points before racing. After racing, he actually loses some of his big lead on the series from those lower competitors, so he's got to make up what points he can here in 2-wheel. Onto the front end. He's trying to save this move, and he does. So Koehler demonstrates skill there. Uh-oh. Wait. Oh. Wait. Oh, that truck's already off. A tough break for Chris. You saw what he was trying to do. That truck went too far forward, and he slammed it in reverse, tried to catch a wheelie to save it, and those rear tires were just inches from touching, but by only those few inches, they would not make contact with that ramp, and he would not get the save he was looking for. Alright, experts are going to give that run. 1 second. Alright, experts are going to give that run for the Mayhem a 6.25. Fans give it a 6.7, and that score a 6.475. Again, that's a 6.475. It is going to be enough for the top spot. Coming up next, Camden Murphy, Classroom Crusher. Now, Camden's weird in this competition in the sense that he's always been good at it, but it doesn't seem like he typically does anything particularly groundbreaking in it. Maybe he can change that up here tonight. He really needs the points after how low he placed right now in timed racing. Let's see what he can do. Alright, first driver with a clean start to his run. Looking to going to take it away from an independent rising star. He's going to take it up onto that big obstacle, trying to keep it going here. And he does? Alright, let's hear it. Camden Murphy and the Classroom Crusher. Not too sure what that was right there. You know, it started a good moonwalk nose wheelie move, and then he tried to combo it a couple times. It was a little awkward, but I mean, he made it work one way or another. He did make it work. On that note, though, scoring is open for the Classroom Crusher. Of course, Camden Murphy not seeing too much success right there. And let's take a look. Experts are going to give that a 7.5. Fans a 7.3. That is a 7.400 for Camden Murphy. He is your new leader. Coming up next, it is Tyler, Menninga, and Gravedigger. Or what is left of Gravedigger, should I say. Tyler had quite the night in timed racing. And actually, both Team Digger trucks saw some unfortunate rollovers that cut their racing passes completely short. So now, just like Ryan, Tyler's got to make up some points. But he is one of the more well-refined drivers in this competition. So if there's anyone I think could use this competition to make up some ground, I feel like it would be Tyler. Goes in for the bicycle. Oh! Tries to save it, but the truck does not have the power. It almost sounds like he was shut off like Ryan was. I'm not entirely sure. That truck was going and then it wasn't, so very possible that that is what happened. And it's unfortunate because Tyler was en route to put down the best run we have seen yet. Alright, experts give that a 6.5. Fans give it a 6.9. That is a 6.700 for Tyler, Menninga, and Gravedigger. That is enough for second place right now here in two-wheel skills. Now, we would be seeing Jim Koehler and Avenger up next, but as you saw, he had that crazy crash earlier tonight in racing, completely decimated the front end. So we're going to see a little later on if he can make it back. Otherwise, he will not be able to compete here. And he will be losing out on some valuable points. On that note, coming up, Colt Stevens and the ThunderROARus. Now, Colt has been experimenting lately in his career, trying to find out what really is for him in this competition. He's tried everything, wheelies, nose wheelies, and just recently bicycles, which it looks like he might be going for here tonight. Alright, well, he's not going to be successful there on that first attempt, which means he's got one left to go. He's got to attempt another bicycle, but he's going to have to do it somewhere else. Or he could do the same spot, but it didn't look like it was working where he was doing it before. He's just going to go for it here. Colt Stevens takes it around, and he has a successful bicycle. So the ThunderROARus, the first, I would say, fully successful run of the event so far. Although he didn't do anything super extravagant, he did do what he was trying to do. Only driver yet to do so. Let's see here. Experts are going to give that a 7.75. Fans are going to give it a 7.7. That score, a 7.725 Colt Stevens. And the ThunderROARus is your new leader tonight. Alright. Coming up next, we got... Ooh, here's someone to look out for. One of the most consistent drivers in this competition, so much so that he almost became a world champion in it only a couple years ago. This is John Zimmer Jr. and the Terminal Velocity. John Zimmer Jr., like I was just saying, one of the best in this competition. I'm interested to see what on this track he's going to opt for, though. Looks like he's eyeing that turn pod. Oh, he's got a slab moonwalk right off the bat. Combination into a wheelie. Into a bicycle. That might send him over, though. Yeah, he's got no room left. And that is going to do it for John Zimmer Jr. and the Terminal Velocity. Unfortunately, they're not going to get what he was looking for. We're seeing a pretty common theme of that here tonight. But it's especially unfortunate for John Zimmer Jr. with him trying to make up those points, and that's not exactly how you do it. Alright. Experts give that run a 7.25. Fans give it a 7.6. And that score is 7.425. Enough for second place, which is not too bad. 7.425. Up next, your previous series leader, Zack, Garner, and the Wild Side. Zack has always had some pretty mixed success when it comes to this competition. Sometimes he does great, other times he does just okay. But it's pretty rare to see him do completely bad, so in that case I am interested to see what he can pull off here. Zack's one of those people that I think will get a little bit creative when you don't expect it. So let's see what he does. Looks like he is eyeing one of those racing turn pods. Interesting. He's eyeing the side of the turn pod, and he is going to make it work. He gets a popper off of it. And he is walking this truck very nicely. You see that precision? I don't even think he's touching that gas pedal at all. Just letting that truck rock back and forth. Of course, he probably needed some right there, but regardless, I mean, this is a perfect run so far. And now he is going to combo it up onto the rear end. Goes in for a huge wheelie, and that is going to do it. Zack, Garner, and the Wild Side. The first successful run of the night. Keeping it alive from start to finish. Scores to beat. A 7.725. That score tonight for Zack, Garner, and the Wild Side is... It's an 8.508. 8.508. That means we do have a new leader for the first time in a minute. and the first new leader of the event to really throw it down and find himself in that top spot. Alright. We are 7 drivers in. That means there's still at least 8 to go in this competition. And up next, it is Venard and the Black Pearl. Venard, not known for two-wheel. He's another driver, like many on this tour, that is definitely a freestyler, but we'll see what he can do. Looks like he's eyeing that center obstacle. First attempt here. Truck goes up and over. He's gonna need a save. He's gotta save. And he's gonna try to combo it up now, which he does. Venard and the Black Pearl. A different approach compared to what we have seen so far. I gotta say, that was pretty cool. So he ends up in a compromised position there. But instead of letting it kind of get the best of his run and turn it into something worse, he actually makes it a wow moment. And that is what you want to do if you're looking for a big score. So very nicely done for Venard and the Black Pearl. Alright. Scores are locked. Score to beat 8.508. And the score for Venard and the Black Pearl is to 7.678. Enough for third place right now for for Venard and the Black Pearl. Coming up, it is Weston Anderson and the Bog Hog. Alright, let's see what Weston can do here. We want to talk about drivers that are very good in this competition. It's probably among the top 5. Although it does kind of depend on the event. Weston has had some less than ideal luck so far this year. Let's see if he can change it up. It's not looking like it. Alright, well, that wasn't good, but he is going to make it work out. Went front to back, back to the front, and now it is something good. So, Weston Anderson turned his mistakes into some success here. Back onto the rear tires, maybe. I think that's it. Oh, no, it's not. He's going to grab it again. Oh! What? What just happened? So that was okay. Of course, that was all around an insane move. I mean, he got a nose pick like wheelie just out of thin air. Then he went onto the gas, saved it, side slapped, and the truck bounced back in the opposite direction. I have never seen anything like that before. That was so weird. Weston Anderson. I don't even know what to say. The truck, it got a crazy wheelie, kind of turned into a backflip after it did a pirouette. And then it did like a half barrel roll corkscrew. Alright, well that score to beat is an 8.508. And that score tonight for the Bog Hog it's a 9.519. Weston Anderson is your new leader in this competition. And now he is setting his sights on a series lead. Alright, coming up next. Another second generation legend in the making. It's Mike Pagliarulo and the Excaliber. Interested to see what Mike opts for out here on this track. This is a weirdly designed track in that there's a lot of options and there's a lot of nothing. You kind of just have to find something that will work. Let's see if Mike can do so. He's going to go for that center obstacle. So far, we've seen some pretty good runs off of it, sorry. Of course, your leading run came off that ramp that Mike is using, so maybe that'll help him out. He's going to actually put himself on top of that center obstacle. Goes in for like a slap moonwalk almost. He's going to end up with a wheelie somehow instead. And now he is back on those front two BKT tires. This is ridiculous. Can he get one more pop out of it? It doesn't look like it. Oh my gosh. And he gets an insane crash out of basically thin air. I'm not even entirely sure where that came from. I mean, I know he really slammed reverse going into that ramp for some reason, but that move was just a move that kept on giving. I don't know. It went from one side to the other to the other. It was just a very interesting series of events right there for the Excaliber, but will it be enough? That score to beat is a big one from the Bog Hog. It was a 9.519. Oh, jeez. So much for reading the score. That score for Excaliber is 9.501. Sorry, 8.501. Not 9. 8.501. Enough for third place right now for the Excaliber. 8.501. Coming up next, Bari, Musawwir, and the Zombie. Let's see what he can do. Bari, not a driver known for this competition. But you never know what he can do. He's known for some iconic moves like his donuts, of course, that did win him a world record once upon a time. Not just any world record, a Guinness World Record. He wants to see some zombie arms out here. The transmission almost sounds like it's slipping. It's not what you want to see if you're in Bari's position. It looks like it's not going to matter for him, though. He goes for a huge wheelie. Oh, no! And that is also not something that, if you're a Bari Musawwir fan, you'll want to see. That is completely a disaster. Bari Musawwir, huge sky wheelie. It sends him straight into the barriers. And that is going to be a costly repair there for Bari. Also destroys the entire zombie body. So, score to beat. 9.519. That score for Zombie is an 8.027. 8.027. Enough for fourth place, though, so not bad. You know, for being an unsuccessful and rather chaotic move, Bari is still going to find himself among those top competitors, and that's going to get him some more points on the night. Well, we got some good news here. Sorry. Just checking some things out with the truck, making sure it's ready to go, but I'm pretty sure it is. So yes, we have some good news. After a very rough crash on racing, in racing, we weren't sure if we'd be able to see him out here for this competition. Well, of course, Tyler Davidson hard at work as usual. Jim Koehler and the Avenger is able to make it out And now he is out here for two-wheel competition. So someone like Jim Koehler and Avenger, of course, a lot of experience. He's had a lot of time to get to know a lot of different maneuvers, but this has never exactly been a competition that he's been known for. Let's see what he can do. Just like Bari, Jim Koehler and the Avenger is going to go for a huge sky wheelie. His ends up as more of a wheelie and less of a crash madness. Surprised he didn't break anything on that landing, honestly. That looks like it was coming down hard on a 4-link bar, but as it happens, that truck survives. And that's going to do it for Jim Koehler and the Avenger. That score to beat still belongs to Weston Anderson and the Bog Hog, who put down a 9.519. And that score for Avenger is... it's a 7.302. Not enough for the top spot. Only 4 drivers left to go. These 4 drivers all put down some very fast times in timed racing. And now they are all looking at potentially an overall event championship. And yeah, so let's get into those competitors here. The first of them, currently with the series lead in his sights, is Blake Granger and the monster Mutt Dalmatian. Blake, no stranger to delivering when it comes to this competition. And the bar has been set extremely high by Weston Anderson. But I feel like if anyone would be able to get it done, it would be Blake Granger. Of course, this is only his one attempt here since it is now deemed successful. He won't get another one, but he's making it work. Great balance, great precision, but unfortunately, it is not going to be successful. Blake Granger, monster Mutt Dalmatian, up and over. All right. Well, a very tough very tough break for Blake. What a tongue twister. Unfortunately, you know, I came out here with a lot of pressure on him, you know, trying to live up to his performance from the earlier in the event. Not able to do so. Let's take a look. Experts scored a 6.75. Fans a 5.9. And that score for Monster Mutt Dalmatian a 6.325. Not enough. Coming up next, it's Tim Hall Jr. Jurassic Attack. Tim does have a competition win here in two-wheel from back in Arlington. Let's see if he can keep that alive here. He's off to a great start to the night. Placed podium in the first competition. Can he do it in another one? He's off to a technical maneuver here on those front 2 tires. Nose wheelie and moonwalking it here. Now he's walking it forward once again. Not very many drivers are as consistent when it comes to these kind of moves as Tim Hall Jr. tries to salvage it. He does. He goes for the double. He gets the double successfully. And now he is just walking this Jurassic Attack Monster Jam truck all the way across the floor. But unfortunately, he's going to get an unhappy meeting with that ramp right there. And it's going to kick that truck just a little bit too sideways and end off that run. all things considered, Tim Hall Jr., one of the more technical runs we've seen. It lasted much longer than probably half the other runs we've seen tonight. So that's something to keep in mind here for Tim Hall Jr. as he looks to take out Weston Anderson and the Bog Hog. Score to beat still is a 9.159. Not seeing any fan scores coming in, so that score tonight for the Jurassic attack is... it's going to be an 8.318. Not enough for the top spot. Only 3 drivers left to go. They got first and second tonight in timed racing. So if they can do that well here in 2-wheel, they might very well be looking at an overall event championship. And the first of them, Bryce Kenny in the Tech Deck Rec Deck. Now this truck has seen its fair share of wow moments here in Anaheim. Let's see if Bryce can get some of that going here in 2-wheel. I've had Blake, Brake, and Bryce all in my mouth. Give me a tongue twister. Oh, Bryce goes for an early combination slap moonwalk. But it actually works out for him. So that was a bold play right there. He gets 2 of them. So Bryce Kenny in the Tech Deck Rec Deck is taking a very different approach to his run than we've seen from others. It might be over right here though, unless he can save this. Oh. Good effort for the Tech Deck Rec Deck, but that backflip ramp kind of buried him in a corner there. And he kind of just didn't have any room to move around. Tough break, you know. Bryce definitely wanted some more points to help expand his lead in the points right now in the event, but again, you win some and you'll lose some, but can't win them all. So that score to beat 9.519. That score for the Tech Deck Rec Deck is... it's an 8.502. 8.502. Enough for 3rd place. So great score for Bryce Kenny in the Tech Deck Rec Deck. On that note, there's only 1 driver left to go. I don't know where he is. He's on his own adventure right now. It's John Gordon and the Megalodon trying to take that truck outside. Let's see what he can do. John Gordon, one of those drivers on this tour that I would really say is not exactly known for this competition, but you never know. Any driver could surprise you on any given day. John Gordon could be one of those people right here, right now. Let's see what he can do. Eyeing that big BMX ramp. Goes for a bicycle, saves it. Very nicely done, John Gordon and the Megalodon. One of, I believe, only 2 drivers to end up on all 4s off of a crazy 2-wheel maneuver. Now, although it was a cool wow moment, the move didn't last all that long, which will raise some questions as to, was it really skill or was it luck? Well, let's take a look here at that score to beat 9.519. The score for Megalodon is... it's an 8.4, sorry, I thought it was a 5, but 8.472. Not enough for the top spot. Which means for, I don't think this is the first time this season, for some number of times this year, Weston Anderson has grabbed another 2-wheel win. He just can't stop winning. And he is going to keep that success going There are some other big other big stories coming out of these scores, though. The most significant of those is that Zack Garner will be finding himself back in the series lead coming out of this competition. We'll see by how much in just a second. Tim Hall Jr. almost was able to defend that spot, but Zack got 4 points more than him, which is going to put Zack in the lead by about, not by about. It's going to put Zack in the lead by 3 points. So, it's still a very close battle between the competitors at the top. But it's always the most fun when it's like that. We're just finishing. I gotta see where everyone placed in the competition and then add up their scores. It's a little bit of a process, but trying to make it quick here. Unfortunately, Ryan Anderson places in dead last 2 competitions in a row. That is really going to pretty much decimate his place in the point series. It's not good for him at all. Weston Anderson, since he was able to perform really well, is actually now tied. No, sorry, he's 1 point behind second. Just barely staying in third instead of moving up. Seeing what else is going on here in the points. Adding up everyone. We're seeing some more shakeups, as you like to see. Jim Koehler up to 112. Camden Murphy at 123. He's still trying to climb up. Cole Venard becomes the last driver to break the 100-point barrier, now at 103. John Gordon goes up to 138, and Bryce Kenny goes up to 123. All right. Everyone's points now taken together here. And it's time to get into that competition that I know everybody watches monster trucks for. Whoa, there are some weird things happening in my spreadsheet right here. All right, it's time for Monster Jam Freestyle. Of course, this is what everyone wants to see. And this is where all the fun culminates. Every driver and their success so far tonight, you know, all the frustrations and all the success, they're all going to push these drivers to drive these trucks to their limits here in freestyle. So, this is where drivers will receive 2 minutes just to do whatever they can on the track and try to become a freestyle winner. Not everyone can do it, but they're all going to try. Sorry, there's some weird things going on right now in the preparations, but I believe, yes, we are ready to go here for freestyle. So, without any delay, we've already waited long enough. It's time for the final competition of the night. And kicking things off, celebrating 16 years with what's left of that truck, it's Ryan Anderson, son of a digger. That truck has seen its fair share here tonight of some chaos, but Ryan now knows he can just turn it all up. Nothing matters anymore. That truck does not need to be in one piece leaving this competition. There's nothing coming after it. That's going to be a rough landing. Looks like he's going to drive out of it, though. Truck issues plaguing Ryan all throughout the event, ever since he got a broken axle in racing of all competitions. He's not letting it stop him. Got that first 30 seconds filled, so now he will qualify for a score. That's kind of the first stressor of freestyle. You want to fill 30 seconds for the score, then you want to make sure to at least fill a minute, because that'll at least make sure you have a pretty solid run down before anything else. And then after that, you can kind of just turn up, go for the wow factors, go for the backflip, go for the huge air. I'll say it, Ryan has already been doing all of those things only in the beginning of this run. Oh, okay. Reverse move for Son of a Digger. It looks like it messed up the suspension on the landing, though. So now Ryan's got to be careful. He's got some big truck issues that could very easily bring this run to the end. And he might be experiencing that here unless he can save this. He's going for it. And that truck has just ran itself into the ground. Ryan Anderson, unfortunately, there, not going to fill as much time as he probably wanted to. He sets the bar and gets things kicked off here in freestyle. Scoring is open. Welcome to the stream, Virtual. Always fun to have you back. If you want, you can score that run. I know you probably didn't see all of it, but fan scores are essential always to make sure that these runs are scored fairly. So, submit a score based on what you saw. No score to beat. Ryan sets the bar. Alright. Experts are going to give it a 7.5. Fans give it a 7.4. So a 7.450 kicks off the night with Ryan Anderson. Coming up next, looking for his first series championship, it's Chris Koehler, Mayhem. Chris Koehler looking to get it done. He is not going to waste a second here in freestyle. He's getting started. Chris's truck, obviously, a lot of a wider wheelbase than the average truck we see out here tonight. See if that maybe helps him. Maybe it'll hurt him. You never know. Well, he is going to get a great technical maneuver pretty early into this run with it. So that's a good way to kick things off here for Chris Koehler and Mayhem. It's a little bit technical. Chris Koehler, oh man, saves it. And he goes for a technical move, so that is a great thing there for Chris Koehler. Of course, you want to get that wow factor in. Ryan, oh, Chris goes straight to that barrier. Ryan ended that run a little early. He never really got to have a super good wow factor. Chris Koehler already has one. Make it two. He goes for a bicycle out of nowhere. Back into another butt kicker moonwalk. So he is really making sure to deliver in this run. Still looking for that series win, and he has been doing a great job so far this season, but the show has been his worst one yet, so he really needs all the points he can get in this competition. Chris Koehler and the Mayhem, this is beautiful stuff we're seeing. It's another little bit of a save. What else can he fit into this run? Not too much time left on the clock. This truck is flying all over the place. Oh, man. That was one of the craziest moves. It wasn't as crazy as what Weston did in skills, but that was still a crazy ride for Chris Koehler and Mayhem. He almost had save of a lifetime. I mean, if that truck landed it, that might have beat what Weston did. It's hard to say, though. I mean, Weston had a sick move. Chris wants in on the action. So still, I mean, we're still just getting started, and we're already seeing some absolutely wild stuff here in freestyle. The timers are in the UI apps. You have to download them off BeamNG, and then they're UI apps. But they are first a mod on BeamNG. Scoring is open. Get those scores locked in. Alright. Score to beat is Ryan Anderson and Son of a Digger, who put down a score of, getting that next competitor ready to go still. It's always a little bit of a struggle to get them ready, but looks like he is ready to hit the track. All right, back to the conversation here. Score to beat Ryan Anderson, 7.450. Fan score for Chris, an 8.7. Expert score, 8.75. That's an 8.725. So your new leader is the Mayhem, Chris Koehler, trying to make up some lost ground. Coming up next, Tyler, Menninga, and Gravedigger. So we just saw Ryan just 2 runs ago, and now we're already seeing Tyler. So neither of the drivers for Team Digger really had a great night tonight. Ryan couldn't quite redeem himself. Tyler really needs to pull it together for the team. Is he over already, or is he going to save this? All right. That's a big deal there. Not only does Tyler not end early, but he gets a wow factor early into the run. That's what you need to see. And a technical wheelie combination into another technical move. So Tyler is getting things started off stronger than I'd say either previous driver could. And now he's still early enough into the event to where he's kind of setting the bar, but Chris did get a pretty good run, so he's also trying to beat the previously set bar. Tyler's just in an awkward spot right here. But he's off to a pretty good run. I will say though, time is already halfway gone and we haven't seen that much yet. A backflip to moonwalk is what we want to see. And now he's got about 50 seconds left just to let loose right now. Can he get a save here? He's trying. Oh, that is going to do it. In cab, you see that is a wild ride for Tyler. He's going to leave about 30 seconds on the clock. Giving it his best effort. I will say, touching the rear steer on that sidewall was probably the thing that sent him over. I see a lot of drivers do that. I'm honestly never quite sure why. But regardless, Tyler lays down a very solid run. Alright, score to beat is an 8.725. Fans give that run a 7.8. Experts give it an 8.5. That's an 8.150 for Tyler. Enough for second place, 8.150. Alright, not going to be enough to take that top spot. Some drivers still holding out strong, and Chris Koehler able to do that, but now it's time for some family drama to unfold because it's Jim Koehler, Avenger. Let's see what Jim can do. This is his competition for sure. He's already drifting all the way out there under the wall, but that means he's just going to go for it. Starts it off with some big air. And Jim is just, right off the bat, being very aggressive with this run. He's been having a pretty rough season, all things considered, so this is what he needs to do. And he's just trying his best here to get some moments on the board. Right now, it's just about consistency is key, though. But let's see if he can keep that going. I will say it's not a bad run yet, but there's just not that much to really say about it. It's just kind of, you know, it's good flow. He's been going from move to move, but he's got to turn it up at some point. It looks like he might be eyeing the Morgan backflip ramp. This could do it for him. Oh, man. A crazy wow moment for Jim Koehler in the Avenger. Almost flips it over on the backflip, but he doesn't. Now he's going to almost flip it over from clipping the backflip, and he might, if he can't save this, but he can save it. This run is just going crazy right now. I don't even know what's happening anymore. Jim is just sending this truck at everything in sight, and that is going to do it. Second time Jim Koehler has destroyed it tonight. That whole rear tire destroyed, 4-link bar. Sorry, that's actually a tie rod flying around. A sway bar, though. Jim Koehler making sure Tyler's getting his hours in, as he has just decimated the Avenger. Alright, score to beat. There's still an 8.725 from Chris Koehler and Mayhem. Can Jim Koehler do it? Alright, let's take a look. Then score to beat 8.725. Alright. Fans are going to score Jim a 9.2. Experts score him an 8.75. That score for the Avenger. An 8.975. Your new leader is Jim Koehler and the Avenger. Coming up next, Camden Murphy, Classroom Crusher. Oh, 1 second here, fans. There's still some parts of Avenger out there on the track. Just want to make sure this is fair for everyone. Sometimes if fiberglass gets caught in these trucks, you wouldn't believe it. The whole end just falls apart. We're ready to go. Here it comes, Camden Murphy, Classroom Crusher. Alright, Camden getting set and ready to go. Oh man, a hard nosedive starts it off. I'm happy to see that truck's even still in one piece, honestly. Because that very easily could have broken a lot of stuff. I will say, I'm a little confused by the way Camden's running this course so far. Already gets a save out of it, though. I feel like he can't really find good flow. He's just kind of hitting things at weird angles, and it's getting some cool moments, but it's very risky, too. So the Classroom Crusher kicking things off. He's already filled 30 seconds, so he at least doesn't have to worry about not getting a score. The truck just shut itself off, but it doesn't even matter. That truck landed back on all fours all on its own, and now he refires it and is ready to spend the second half of this run on the ragged edge. Oh man, this might do it. Wow. He totally greased the landing on the backside of that racing lane. If that wasn't there, that truck might have been done. Beautiful backflip to moonwalk. It might send him over, though. Can he save this? This would be a great save if he can. He's going for it. One side to the other. Wow! What a move by the Classroom Crusher. That front right axle is locked. Can he get it back? He can. And that is done. What a run. You see there, that drive shaft is out and still spinning. I don't even know what bar that is that he broke. Broken planetary. Camden Murphy just demolishing the truck. But that was an insane run from start to finish. I don't even know where to start. I mean, that had everything in it. So many wow moments, saves, crash madness, the backflip to moonwalk. Perfect performance for the Classroom Crusher. Score to beat. And not 8.975. Fans give Classroom Crusher an 8.8. Experts a 9.25. So 9.025. Camden Murphy takes the top spot. We are only 5 drivers in. We still have 9 more to go. Just getting started here tonight. And coming up next to the track now, one of the best drivers when it comes to doing moves on only 2 wheels. Let's see if he can now take that success into freestyle. It's John Zimmer Jr., Terminal Velocity. Oh, gotta refire that truck. Not sure what happened right there, but John Zimmer Jr. ready to go. And he is just gonna get started here. He has not been having a great night here. He's only received 14 out of a possible 32 points. So you know that that's going to push him to drive a little bit harder here in freestyle. And he is off to a crazy start to the run. Some of the best momentum we have seen yet. And he is just soaring throughout the track right now. No loss of momentum at any point in time. Oh my gosh, he pulls off a successful transfer. Unreal stuff right now for the Terminal Velocity. And he is still just getting started. Unfortunately, it looks like something might be broken on that truck if you look at that front end, but I don't think it's impairing his performance at all. It might just be a tie rod and not even one that's going to impact the steering of that truck. So I think he's just fine right here. Oh! What was that? Some sort of odd barrel roll maneuver. And the truck just does it. Well, unfortunately, a rare mistake for John Zimmer Jr. He is going to under-rotate the backflip. Hammers the loud pedal, tries to save it. But that truck just was not coming around. And unfortunately for John Zimmer Jr., his night is going to continue to be a bit of a struggle. Score to beat belongs to Classroom Crusher with a 9.025. Get those scores in for Terminal Velocity. Alright, experts are going to give that run an 8.5. Fans give it a 9.1. That score is an 8.800, enough for third place for John Zimmer Jr., 8.800. Not going to fill too much time, not going to land the backflip. A couple factors there that are going to prevent him from taking the top spot. Coming up next. One second, I keep forgetting. We got to make sure that these trucks don't have RAI in them, because that's no fun, is it? No RAI here in freestyle. These trucks are just going to let loose. There we go. We're ready to go now. Colt Stevens. ThunderROARus. Colt's been having an okay night so far, but it hasn't been particularly great. Let's see what he can do here. Try to pick it up maybe a little bit more. Try to continue climbing up in the season points chase. Off to a good start, I will say. The flow has been there. Not really been lacking in momentum at all. He is really tackling this track like a world freestyle champion. Oh, nice. Another great save there for the ThunderROARus. And Colt Stevens is off to a good start here. Look out, though. This could bring it to an end. Nice. Expert control and precision. Exactly what you would expect from a World Finals champion. It might be Morgan and Morgan backflip time now. He nails the landing. I thought something might break on it, but no. That truck is just fine. Might not be fine after this. What is happening? And that is going to do it for the ThunderROARus. The whole rear end is decimated. That truck is absolutely cooked after that landing. Let's talk about that save. He just kept going back and forth until that truck was back on all four tires. Great control, precision, everything, but he did not fill the clock. So overall, pretty solid run for the ThunderROARus. He had some good saves, some decent filling of the time, and a great move at the end to finish it off. Score to beat is the Classroom Crushers 9.025. Alright. Scores are locked. Experts give that run a 9.25. Fans give it a 9.4. That score a 9.325. 9.325. Your new leader tonight. Again, that is your new leader, Colt Stevens. And the ThunderROARus with a 9.325. Coming up next, it's time for Venard and the Black Pearl. So Venard gets his run kicked off there. Some pretty decent hang time. Trying to keep this truck up on the momentum as he's searching for a good start to this run now. Good momentum, good air so far. He also is going to fill at least 30 seconds. He already had a great save in two-wheel skills. Oh! Oh! That two-wheel skills energy makes its way into freestyle. What a move. That hood is caught up in the truck. That could cause some big issues here. Gonna go for a Morgan backflip, maybe because of that hood being in the way. But he is not letting anything stop him. Finally gets, oh no, oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh. You know, I said that hood was gonna be trouble. Some people might have thought I was making things up, but that is exactly what I meant. That hood shears off those front two BKT tires. And there is just no coming back when all you have is two rear tires. And no suspension whatsoever. Venard and the Black Pearl. Well, it didn't end exactly as it was intended to, I'm sure, but that was a crazy run. That save, I still don't know what to even say about it. Really a great demonstration of talent and precision and skill for the Black Pearl Monster Truck. Score to beat is a... Sorry. Score to beat is a 9.325. Experts are going to give Colt a 9. Fans give him an 8.6. It's an 8.800. However, because he came out after John Zimmer Jr.'s 8.800, that score is going to become an 8.799, just because he was going to place one behind John Zimmer Jr. since he came out after. So, 8.799 for the Black Pearl. Alright, coming up next, a reigning world freestyle champion, looking to become Stadium Series champion. It's Blake Granger, Monster Mutt Dalmatian. Blake almost one-timed racing, and then he had a pretty bad night in two-wheel. Let's see if he can make it all come together here for freestyle. Off to a pretty solid start, I will say. Good flow around the track so far. Blake is one of the only drivers who can consistently win freestyles without even doing a backflip. And that's not because he doesn't do backflips. He just doesn't even need the backflip to win. And he knows it. And he just goes out there and wins without it. Oh, this might not be good for him, though. Oh, man. A rough landing for Blake. Now, the issue with that landing is it knocked out a drive shaft, so he was fired up and was allowed the attempt to save it, but with no front wheel drive, you're not really going to pull off any saves too good. So, very tough break. See, we're back to this tongue twister. Very tough break for Blake Granger. And the Monster Mutt Dalmatian. Truck issues come back to bite him. And so does, I guess, just getting a little ahead of himself right there. He did fill at least 30 seconds. So if we don't see a fan score, that will just be an expert score. And yes, it will. So that score for Monster Mutt Dalmatian is a 6.296. Alright, coming up next, it's your series leader, Zack, Garner, and Wildside. Zack Garner, he has stayed very consistent all year, finding himself at the top of the points. Let's see if he can now expand that lead over Tim Hall Jr. with a good freestyle run. Zack Garner and Wildside kicking things off. Oh man, he is getting some great air already. He might be done. Or he's just going to throw in a technical maneuver on what would be a very, very scary save to have to pull off. Unfortunately, he might end up with the same fate as his teammate. You see that piece of fiberglass stuck in the rear that might break the truck later, but it doesn't even... Zack does not have time to care. He just did a double barrel roll. The truck pulls up and he drives away from him. It might already be Morgan & Morgan backflip time. All that is left of that truck is a hood, and that's if that even makes it to the end of the run. Another save, sidewall after the backflip. 40 seconds left. Gonna need another one here. Oh, I think that's done. Well, he doesn't want it to be, though. And he does it again. Wildside just doing whatever he can right now to defend that series season points lead. And this is just unreal. Oh! He almost does a corkscrew on that ramp. And that run is done for the wild side. Where to even begin with that run? Zack was just save after save after save behind the wheel of that wild side machine. He did not let anything stop him out there on the track. And I mean, at this point, if I'm who's even leading right now? If I'm Colt Stevens, I'm pretty nervous. Let's see. Fans score an 8.9. Expert score 9.5. And that score is a 9.200. Enough for second place. 9.200. Alright, we're down to the final 3 competitors. Nope. Final 5 competitors. There were a couple I didn't even notice. We're still needing to go here. But only 5 left to go. And only 1 could come out on top. Sorry, I just realized Zack's truck might have been very loud for that whole run. I am so sorry. Here comes Mike, Pagliarulo, and Excaliber. One of the best freestylers in Monster Jam right now. And he has to follow up one of the best freestyle runs I have ever seen. Let's see what he can do. I mean, great air so far. Even a little bit of a cross thread already. Tries to get technical. He's taking a lot of speed to that ramp. Greases the landing almost. And this run is just off to such a great start. Mike Pagliarulo and the Excaliber, he might be done here. Or it is a big cartwheel save. Getting it back here. What a run we're seeing so far. Oh! Stick with it! Yes! We see a consecutive backflip from the Excaliber. We have not seen that tonight. Oh man! Another cartwheel! And he lands that one too. This is insane. 2 cartwheels, 2 backflips. Oh, and a save into the barriers. The truck is in one piece. Alright, he's got a little time left. He just keeps hitting these barriers. That slick dirt is messing him up. Goes for a reverse move. Sort of pulls it off. Time is expired now for the Excaliber. Maybe trying to get one more save out of it. And that concludes the freestyle run. Front to back chaos, destruction, and wow moments. I don't even know where... I don't know what to talk about first with that run. He put everything in that. A consecutive backflip, several cartwheel saves somehow, which it's very rare you even see one in an entire show. It's rare you even see one a month. And Mike just did 2 and only 1 freestyle run. It's no secret why he is a fan favorite and a world champion here in the BeamNG circuit. It is stuff like that that allows, or that's not what allows him to get it done. He just does get it done very consistently. Alright. Hold on, I'm trying to get the next competitor ready before we do scores, and I'm having a lot of trouble here with this truck. Alright. Now we are ready. Alright. Score to beat, 9.325. Fan scores a 9.05. Expert score a 9.5. That score a 9.275. Only enough for second place for the Excaliber. Coming up, it's Bari, Musawwir, and Zombie. He wants to see some zombie arms in the audience. Yeah, throw in a zombie emoji if you're ready to see this run go down. Oh man, I think he was going for a slap wheelie there and it just did not work for him. That was kind of awkward. That jammer's a little bit thin, if I had to say. He can barely even do anything on it. Oh, a save as well. Early success for Bari, Musawwir, and Zombie. A pretty calm start to the run, just trying to get some calculated hits in, fill some time. Pretty frequent thing here for Bari's routine. He's going for some cyclones now. Oh man. Zombie's still off to a pretty good run, but he's starting to run low on time and has not done too much yet. Might be Morgan and Morgan backflip time now. Nails the landing. A little bit of an odd landing, but truck lands it nicely. He's able to drive away. Now he's got to find a good way to bring this run to a close. Big wheelie. Oh man. And those arms are going to put the truck right on the lid. Not quite going to fill time, but he got pretty close. And that is going to do it for the Zombie. Oh! Okay, so there is one other driver that... Okay. I keep getting these numbers wrong. There are actually 4 drivers still left to go after Bari. Sorry, I know I keep changing that number. I keep realizing there were drivers I was overlooking and stuff. 4 drivers left to go after that run. Get those scores in. Alright. Score to beat, 9.325 for Colt Stevens and ThunderROARus. The score for Bari, Musawwir and Zombie is... It's got to be an 8.051. 8.051. Alright, 4 drivers left to go. Coming up, he's looking to reclaim the season points lead. It's Tim Hall Jr., Jurassic Attack. Oh, 1 second here. Gotta adjust something really quick, make sure this is looking fair. And we are ready to get back up and rolling here for Tim Hall Jr. Oh no! That was almost a one-hit wonder for Tim Hall Jr., but he saves it. Unfortunately, though, although he does not roll it, the truck does suffer some damage. You see that rear steer is not working the way you probably want it to. It is stuck steering right. Tim Hall Jr. is going to have to battle that truck now for the remainder of this freestyle run unless he can free up that rear steer. Now he's almost going over unless he can save it. Wow. Very close call for the Jurassic attack. But he is still going to now have to suffer through the rest of this run again unless he can figure out a way to free up that rear steer. This might do it. Oh. Well, the rear steer does get freed up, but unfortunately, the run is over before he can really make any use out of it. Tough break for the Jurassic attack. I know he had a little bit more in store than what he was able to put on display. But you can't win them all. You know, I always say you win some, you lose some. But you can't win them all. But even though you can't win them all, you can't lose them all either. Unfortunately, this is just one of those losing days. Score to beat 9.325 for the ThunderROARus. Fans give Tim an 8.657. Experts give it a 7.75. So that score an 8.204 for Jurassic Attack. 8.204. Up next, looking to take that season lead, it's Weston Anderson and Bog Hog. Weston with a big opportunity here to put himself in the history books. But it's gonna take a good run. That slick dirt still messing up some drivers. See, Weston almost hit the wall, but he is getting started with maybe the biggest send of the night so far. That slick dirt messes him up a little bit, but he's not letting it slow him down. Weston not only looking for that series lead, but looking for the overall event win tonight. Coming off of a nice skills challenge win, and he just pulled off a save just like the one he got earlier tonight. The move that won him the competition earlier, he now tries to mirror here in freestyle. Now he's going for a technical butt kicker maneuver. Slick dirt still making a little bit of an issue for him here, but he's got about 50 seconds left to make something happen. He nails it though. Now he's going to walk it up the side of that ramp. That is something we have not seen yet. And now he's just got 40 seconds to do whatever he can to make this run stand out. I mean, he already has had a good run. Now he's going to pull off a little bit of a save here. Another technical move. It might send him over unless he can save it, which he can. Oh no! Oh, it is a bad crash for the Bog Hog. Wait! Clock is paused 10 seconds. The truck is back on all fours. He is able to refire that truck. He's only got 8 seconds left to make something happen, but he is going to try. Oh, and that is done. Well, he goes from one container to the other. Weston Anderson making sure every side of this track gets to feel a little bit of destruction here. And that was insane. Well, Weston really living up to the Anderson name all about a little destruction for the family, and that is exactly what he delivers here tonight. Score to beat belongs to Colt Stevens. And ThunderROARus, he put down a 9.325. 9.325. Awaiting that score for the Bog Hog. We're going to see some fan scores coming in. That was a fun freestyle run. Alright, let's see. Fan scores are in. The fan score tonight an 8.522. Experts give it a 9.5. The score a 9.511. Your new leader, Weston Anderson and Bog Hog. And now with only 2 drivers left, Weston could very well be looking at a double down night. But 2 drivers still left to get in the way of that. The first of them, John Gordon and Megalodon. Oh man, John Gordon coming out here. And he's got quite the run to follow up. Goes in for a slap wheelie. There he goes. Couldn't get it at first, but he got it at second, I guess. So John Gordon comes into freestyle 1 point behind the current driver leading the overall event points chase. So I really expect John Gordon to kind of pick up his performance here for this freestyle run, since there is so much on the line. Off to a good start with the run. Oh man! A bit of a rough landing, but he's gonna be able to drive away from it. Unfortunately, just like Tim Hall Jr., that is broken rear steer for the Megalodon, and he might not drive away from it just like Tim Hall Jr. did, unless he can save this. Oh, it's gonna be close. Oh, he can't save it. That was so close to being one of the best moves of the night. But as he was trying to save it, that truck got caught on the sidewalls. And unfortunately, when you're on the sidewalls, you want those rear tires to be straight. Well, unfortunately, those rear tires stuck turning are going to kick the truck right onto the lid. And it is not going to be the end of the night that John Gordon was really looking for there. Almost wow factor of the year for him. And it's going to be quite the opposite in the end. On that note, there is only one competitor left, but first, we got to see those scores for that last driver, John Gordon. Last chance, last chance. Alright, scores are locked. No fan scores at the time that stream delay is showing me. Oh, no, we got one in last second there. Fan score 6.9 for that run. Expert score is a 7.25. That score a 7.075. Not enough for the top spot. 7.075. Only one driver left. He is currently leading the overall event points chase, looking to become a freestyle winner. It's Bryce Kenny. Tech Deck, Wreck Deck. Oh man! Bryce Kenny, Tech Deck, Wreck Deck. He starts off some huge air into a slap wheel. While when you're leading the overall event points chase coming into freestyle, a lot of drivers would be nervous. I don't think Bryce is one of those, because this is someone that really knows what he's doing in this competition. Unfortunately though, for about the 5th time tonight, we're seeing rear steer issues. Bryce Kenny has no rear steer power right now. I'm not sure if he can even get that back, but he's gonna have to try. So no rear steer. Bryce is stuck with only front steering for possibly this whole freestyle run, unless he can knock it loose or something. But I don't even know if he can. This is going to be an interesting run. About half the time filled, about half the time to go. Might be Morgan and Morgan backflip time for the tech deck, rec deck. Consecutive backflip, doesn't land it. He's trying to save it. But that is just not coming back around. Unfortunately, gave it a little too much steering when that backflip came around. And of course, having no rear steer control really is going to limit what you can do. And that's what we saw there for Bryce Kenny. And that may have washed away his dreams here of being able to become a series champion tonight. Not a series champion, sorry, but an overall event champion. So tough break there for the tech deck, rec deck. I know that's not what Bryce had in mind to end out that freestyle run. And what has been an otherwise pretty solid event for him. On that note, though, we are preparing for that encore. So in the meantime, let's take a look at those scores. Score to beat belongs to Weston Anderson, 9.511, looking for his second freestyle win. Let's see, fan scores are an 8. Expert scores 8.25. That score for the Tech Deck Rec Deck, 8.125, which means your freestyle winner is Weston Anderson and the Bog Hog, getting his second competition win of the event. Weston Anderson gets it done. So in a very tough competition overall, Weston shows that he knows how to get it done. But we're not done yet. You guys know what time it is. We're going to bring back a tradition from the last stream. You guys know what you're going to have to do here pretty shortly. You might notice if you look out there on the track, there's a monster truck on the track. But not one, but two. We're going to have some fun with that. So for the encore celebrating 15 years, it's Ryan Anderson and Son of a Digger. And you guys should all know what time it is if you were there at that last stream with Brett. Ryan Anderson clears the tech deck, rec deck, kicks off this encore. Let's see what he can do here. He clears it again. Wow, he actually hit it a little bit that time. Ryan Anderson got the time to celebrate here. A big milestone for his truck. Is he doing what I think he's doing? Hold on. With Tech Deck Rec Deck on the track, I think Ryan is attempting the kickflip. That is hilarious. Oh man, well, unfortunately for Ryan, it is a very destructive move. I don't think that truck's looking too okay. But you know what it's like here on the BeamNG circuit. We're not going to go out there, do a 3-hit encore and call it a day. We're not done here yet. We're not done here. No, stop saying no. We're not done yet. Because this is the 15th anniversary of Ryan Anderson's Monster Jam truck. We're not done yet. Coming out, Ryan Anderson, Son of a Digger. He's gonna clear his very own truck. That is an awesome sight to see. There's very few times you'll ever see someone do that. Unless you were prime Tom Mentz. Ryan Anderson out here to have some fun. Alright. It's that time of the day. You see out there on the track a racing lane, and right on the other side of it the tech deck, wreck deck. And we're gonna start out a little call here. We're gonna say mash the truck. You guys gotta participate. Here we go. Mash the truck. Mash the truck. Let's get this going here. I see it happening. I see it happening. I see it unfolding right now. Here we go. Oh, he went over it! What? Can he get this back? That is not what was even supposed to happen. He's going for it. There we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, he's mashing it. Now he's eyeing his own truck. Oh! Wheelies on top of it. That truck is on the lid. We're gonna send out, you know, yeah. Look at that. The truck is still in one piece. We're gonna send out the JCB Dirt Squad. Get that truck flipped back over. And we're gonna finish this encore the way it was supposed to be finished. Don't go anywhere. We are just getting started still. Oh yeah, we're ready to go. We're ready to go. Here we go. Keep it going, keep it going. We're not done. We're still gonna mash that truck. Oh! I don't know what's up with Ryan's truck right now, but it is indestructible. Oh! He just rolled over the other one like it was a car. Uh-oh. Oh, I think I see what's happening here. I can't tell where that Tech Deck Wreck Deck truck is, but it doesn't look like it's where it's going to want to be. Oh! Oh, man. Sidewall. Gets it. Keep going. Mash the truck. Let's see it. Oh, I see something. Oh, man. Right into it. Here we go, here we go. Keep going, keep going. We're not done until that truck is done. Oh! I honestly am starting to feel bad for the Tech Deck Wreck Deck at this point. I think that truck is a broken tie rod. He's having a hard time getting around now. Can he even get out of this corner? Okay, yes he can. He can barely even maneuver though. In a very awkward position with a broken truck. Now he's got to get another save. What is even happening? A corkscrew. He's back. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh! Oh! Oh, man. That is the ending we were looking for. Look at that. And with that, this show comes to an end. I will say, some of the action in this show is a little different than what I typically like to go for, but it was another fun one. We had a great freestyle competition, some interesting races, all sorts of good stuff. I hope you guys had a good time. Not sure when the next show will be. Been pretty busy lately, but I hope to give you some more action in the near future. But in the meantime, thank you all for coming out here for this Anaheim show. It was a good one, and I'll see you all next time.